Good afternoon, everybody. This is Dr. Bonsai, Dr. Bonsai's Meme Emporium, and today I have the Alpha Strike Counters Pack. I got this from Catalyst Game Labs, certainly not sponsored, but you can get, and all your other favorite retailers like Aries Miniatures and Games, not sponsored, but, so let's dig into this. Now, I'm an Alpha Strike fan. I posted something on my Facebook a while back, and here's the contents list. $24.99. I was able to game the system a little bit and get it for free using all the various different box set discount codes and all sorts of shenanigans that Catalyst has going on perpetually. So now, how did I get started with Alpha Strike? That's a great question, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about it because it has a lot to do with the nature of in-person tabletop gaming. So my local Battletech group for a long time was okay. It was okay. We had one guy who's just, think about like the stereotypical sweaty gamer that's just no fun to play. He's really quick to like, oh, my mech can do this, and this to you. And then you turn around and say, okay, well, it's my turn to shoot. Well, let's check line of sight. Well, is that partial cover? So it's, and that combined with his just general personal odiousness and maladaptive personal behaviors really drove me away from playing classic Battletech. And funny enough, I was looking at Alpha Strike because I like the spectacle that Alpha Strike gives. I think it's sufficiently unique compared to classic that I really enjoy it. It's obviously not as granular, and there's not that many differences sometimes between certain mechs, and sometimes certain mechs have no differences. And I have made my peace with that it's never going to be like that. So one of the reasons I like Alpha Strike is it allows me to get in a fairly decently sized game without lasting all day. Because part of the problem with this gaming group that I was a part of, the guy in general insisted on doing like 15k BV, and instead of pairing off into individual matches, he'd always play like three or four players to a game, and the games would just last forever and ever and ever and ever. And after a certain point, like, my patience was dry because I've got kids, I've got a job, I got a wife, trying to, get off work to play a game of Battletech, a quick, 2 or 3 hour game. That's a really easy sell for me, as opposed to, hey, you've been engaging your brain and working really hard all day and managing the kids and helping the wife and doing this, that, and the other thing. Let's play this 5 hour just mind melting grinder where just nothing makes sense by the end of the game. Let's just play that instead of having, a game like Alpha Strike where you can play it in like 2 hours or less, and you can play like company on company or company on trinary and have an actually pretty good time. So that's one of the reasons why I've really enjoyed Alpha Strike lately, because it's just been more accessible with my time. So that all being out of the way, let's actually look what's in this. So you get a bag of buildings, and this bag of buildings is, I believe, identical. And that's the other thing. A lot of these are going to be identical. A lot of these pieces within a certain point are going to be identical to what you get in the Alpha Strike box properly. So again, this is no miniatures. This is absolutely all counters. So you have this really good kind of semi-matte, almost quite matte, buildings and office buildings and stuff like that. And ooh, That one's new. So I do think these buildings are kind of the same, like, construction. So they're just the little kind of drop zone commander-esque, you know, slot together buildings. But I do believe they're actually unique prints compared to the Alpha Strike ones, the ones in the Alpha Strike box. And then you get, this is where you get all your cards and tokens and stuff. So you get objective markers, full color objective markers, trees, more trees. Ooh, okay. And this is the other thing is they include some gameplay aids. So here you have the strafing template, and then you have, oh, so this is for like, this is like a measuring tool. So that's like melee. That's if you're doing a physical attack, and that's 6 inches short range, and it tells you how the targeting modifier stack. That's neat. I like that. All right, and then you get, okay, so this is cool. So you get C3, Narc, Stealth, C3M. You get kind of like your opponents. Oh, they're double-sided. Look at that. I am dumb. Dumb as they come. Okay, yep. So autumn. So that's autumn. That's spring, summer. So you get the blast template. You get another one of those measuring sticks. And you get, oh, okay. So if you're not using anything with like the AoE, just flip it over and all of a sudden that's an airbase. That's neat. So you get rough terrain. And you flip it over and you get the AoE template. You get some not streams, water bodies of water. There we go. Oh. And you get kind of like the oxide contaminated whatever thing, and then you get these roads. So again, you kind of get fall or like desert, and you get green, and you get really nice, thick, sturdy reference cards. Way more complete, way better than the one that came with the original Alpha Strike box, because that one was super condensed. So you get this one. So it's got your movement costs and all sorts of stuff, and then you get, you know, for some reason this one always trips me up. So like, that's your Arc of Fire, right? And then that's if you're trying to do a back attack, rear attack on somebody. So that's your firing arc, and then that's your, if somebody's trying to hit you in the rear. And then you get your Alpha Strike abilities and kind of what the little codes on the Alpha Strike cards are for, which is actually really easy. So so retail, would I buy this for retail? I would say, if you're like me, who's not huge into terrain, like I don't have a whole lot of wargaming terrain, I have like a mat, and that's about it. If you're in that space that I'm in, solid buy, 4 out of 5. And I think that's only because, the only reason I rated a 4 out of 5 is because the, I don't know why I would rate 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5 because some of the stuff we've seen before, but I think there's enough discrete items here and objects that it's really worth it, especially with the amount of tokens and whatnot. And don't get me wrong, Alpha Strike is not a token heavy game. It's just not. That's just not how it is. But these certain things, they take the place of the movement dice. So the fact that you have more than like ground move 1, ground move 2, you know, that's actually really helpful. So I like it, 4 out of 5. If you're a veteran who already has the Alpha Strike box set, I would rate this at a 3 out of 5. But I think it's still a worthwhile purchase, especially if you don't have like a whole ton of dedicated terrain. But yeah, so again, solid buy. Either if you're new or old, I would probably pick this up. That's it. Thanks, and have a great day, guys.